Hey, by the way, Lawrence Jones is live from his hometown of Dallas today. Where are you, Lawrence?
Hey, good morning, family. We're at the Eggs Up Grill. So if you're in the area, come out and have breakfast with us. We got a lot to discuss this morning. It's good to be back home. It's been a little bit, probably about 3 months since I've been back home. So it's good to talk about some of the issues facing the country that Nancy Pelosi says are the kitchen table issues.
Yep, let's listen to this. Here she is last night on CNN.
I think it's time to get out there. We've had our holidays. The campaigns are beginning now. This is when people will pay attention. And I think that the president, again, I've always said to members, people don't vote for you because you deserve it. But what you have done gives you the legitimacy to say, this is what I will do. His message is about what we need to do as we go forward. And freedom gives us that opportunity. The kitchen table issues are our motivation and our mobilization.
She said, what you have done gives you legitimacy, then Biden is in trouble, right? Because no one thinks he has a good record. His approval rating is in the 30s now. 39% approve of his job performance. He's entering this new year with an approval rating that lower than any of his 7 predecessors at a similar point in their first term.
Right, but what she's saying is the same thing that the campaign's saying, that the numbers are good, but the problem is the numbers may be better than they were last year.
With the economy?
But across the board, yeah. They've got all sorts of metrics where they show that the economy is doing better. But people don't feel it because stuff costs more. So anyway, she's just saying he should be talking about bread and butter issues. But what he is doing is he's going to kick off today, and they're going to do it at Valley Forge. They're going to do it today on January 5th. They had planned to do it tomorrow on January 6th, highlighting the riot on the Capitol 3 years ago. And essentially what they're doing, as you can see right there, as he kicks off his campaign in person during 2024, he's going to remind people, and we've been talking about the Joe Biden game plan since March when it was revealed, that he was going to stay quiet for the most time, and then he was going to let people just watch the chaos in the Republican Party. Now he's reminding people of the chaos of the Trump years, according to the Associated Press.
So if you look at Valley Forge, Pennsylvania, he wants to talk about democracy. Why is he going to do that? He's going to talk about democracy because he believes that Donald Trump is a threat to democracy. What about Charleston, where the horrible shooting took place in 2015? Why is he going to do that? Because legitimately guns are a concern, and he believes he wants to point out that Republicans don't care about shootings, whether they're race-related or whether they're school-related. And why would he talk about the anniversary of Roe v. Wade? The reason why there was not a red wave in the midterm elections, by almost all accounts, was because of the overturn of Roe v. Wade. And some of the states that even have no exceptions. He wants to ride that horse. But, Lawrence, what I find interesting is it seems as though Nancy Pelosi, to a degree, is so frustrated that she can't get through to the White House, she has to go to a friendly network and tell the White House what they should do, as if to say, listen, I've been around for 83 years, 50 of which have been in politics, and you can't win 10 months out of an election playing your ace card, which is Donald Trump is evil and democracy's in the balance. You have to talk about what you did. It seems like a desperate attempt to tell Joe Biden you need another game plan to go along with this one.
It's so true, Brian, because everything that Nancy Pelosi does, as we know, because she's a skilled politician, is very well calculated. And I think what she's speaking to is the core of the problem with the Biden administration and the White House press secretary's office, that they feel like they can explain away that American situations, their day-to-day, is not reality for them, that if they could just teach them the numbers, then somehow we'll all feel well. It doesn't matter what you go through when you go to the grocery store or the gas tank, or in cities that have been invaded by crimes, or people that have been invaded by folks that are illegally crossing the border. None of that matters. Just look at their graphs. And I think the racial undertone of saying, look, let's go to South Carolina where something tragically happened because of the basis of race, and make the link back to Donald Trump like they always try to do, I think that's dangerous. It's so dangerous when the country is divided.
Yeah.
But also, if you're going to talk about racial politics and the real threat right now, You have 60% of the hate crimes right now being against the Jewish population in this country. But there's no mention of that.
You know, Lawrence, I think if we're out in the community, you're at the diner, and I'm curious to hear what they're going to say. I think independents, I think even Democrats are scared for another Biden administration. We have watched how the world has reacted with him as our leader. They aren't afraid of him. We've seen what happened with Russia invading Ukraine. We saw what happened in Israel. We're seeing now China threatening Taiwan. That's going to affect us with our chips. We have to protect Taiwan. What does that mean for us? Will there be another war? We know that they know they have one more year with Biden in this administration, and we are all terrified over what that means for our country, not to mention the border. We have probably terrorists coming through over our border. We know that they've caught a lot on the terrorist watch list. Those are the ones they've caught.
That's right.
We're all living in fear over this year. So the economy is important, and that does matter now.
Well, the economy isn't the number one issue.
It's the number one issue.
Crime with a lot of people. But here's the thing. The Biden people are smart. And what they've done is they've looked at the polling. What are his two best issues? And
Abortion.
We've talked about this in the past. They are democracy and Dobbs. And so you look at this list, he's talking about threat to democracy and Dobbs, which is the abortion ruling.
How can they sell democracy? We don't have our freedoms. They're
January
allowing
6th.
everyone else to go through January 6th. All right, that was 3 years ago.
Right.
But we're watching our border people come across, and our freedoms, we're paying for them.
Let's see how they do it. But keep in mind, ever since the Dobbs decision, the Republicans have lost every election when they've run on abortion. And they thought down in the Commonwealth of Virginia that Glenn Youngkin actually had a good plan. He didn't win when he tried to back the legislature. So those are two issues for Joe Biden. They are good for Joe Biden. Right. But the economy and crime and border, they're really important to a lot of other people.
Jeff Zients had a confidence-raising party for the team. But by the way,
it's going to happen at the end of January.
It hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
Joe
That's
Biden,
the chief of staff for Joe Biden.
Right. Joe Biden's staff is rallying against him, signing petitions against his policy, and going out in front of the White House.
Right.
Protesting against him.
That's why he's having a party. Hey, shut up!
It's a morale booster.
Forget about winning over moderates and undecideds, or maybe some disenchanted Republicans. Your own staff doesn't like you.
Yeah, and he's a multimillionaire, so he's paying for this party.
Yeah.
Well, they're so upset because they've been running the day-to-day of the White House for 3 years. And then finally, Joe Biden bucks the system and stands with Israel, and now they're all up in arms. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.